And welcome back to match point between Samsung Galaxy and Team WE. This could be the very last game of a Chinese team at the 2017 World Championships. And even if they win, they need to do it again to set themselves up in Beijing. And that's what the team said they wanted to go. Side selection has come in. Samsung Galaxy have picked blue side, so Jat. Let's talk about some of the champions, the picks and bans. Now WE have to win on red sides.
Yeah, and they are so far removed from that Game 1 victory, it's not even funny. They need to, A, have a big mentality bounce back, but if we're specifically looking at the picks and bans, do they have the confidence to go back to Jarvan Galio? Because if they were broken in that game and think there's no way they can pull off that combo, then they almost feel like out of options. Because you start going down the things that have been good for Samsung. You're like, well, the Varus has been good. The Taric's been real good. CuVee's been pretty good. Ambition's Grox has been really good. You do not have close to enough bans, so you need to be able to get your sweet spot champions and excel on them. And I think that could still be Galio Jarvan.
I think the manner of the Game 2 and Game 3 losses as well suggests maybe curveballs are needed from WE. The pick and bans have followed a pretty predictable cadence. By Game 3, we said, okay, Samsung have made their adjustments. They took the Shen priority in the second round. It shut down a lot of the playmaking defensively in the early game, and then opened up playmaking in the late game. So maybe you need to get a bit frisky. I don't know if Kallista's being left open, but playing around with what's left open is important here.
Papa Smithy, 100% banned from groups and playoffs.
It's time. It's time to start rolling the dice, Trevor.
100% red side ban as well. But if you're looking for bans,
hey, you know what?
Build one up with. It's not going to happen.
Well, let's see what happens because we are jumping into picks and bans. That Janna dislodged all of the engage that Team WE put down with that Galio, Jarvan, Rumble combination in game number 2. And as we jump out the gate, Samsung Galaxy banned Lulu, Kog'Maw, and Xayah when they were blue side last time. And Papa Smithy's idea, as radical as it was, is thrown out the window.
Something radical in either picks and bans or in the level 1 like they managed to do in Game 1 is so important to WE. The crowd want to burst out. They want to support their hometown faithfuls. Love the Janna ban here. That is a change from Game 2. That was the first pick, so easily answering all the engage. So we'll not have first pick Janna for Samsung.
Yeah, and I think what could be really interesting right here is who can control the Taric, because CoreJJ has been so good on it, and if Rakan is down, it doesn't have as much value. The Gragas ban by Samsung is rather perplexing, but that's basically calling out a Sejuani ban.
Exactly. First pick Sejuani, if not banned. That seems to be what they're fishing for, and yep, it will just be the answering ban. Jarvan, Galio, both available. Very likely to be split up, and Samsung jumping on the Galio train.
But this does leave it open for Team WE to go Jarvan Taric, as long as Ben is comfortable playing around that style.
Oh, we're about to find out because the Jarvan is currently being hovered and there's the Taric as well. So let's assume those two get locked in. What is the next, phase? What do we start looking at? Because the AD carry pool is still very wide and very open as well.
You wonder if Samsung Galaxy gets in their heads a bit and just locks in Kog'Maw early here. It's the sort of thing that you can consider. It is, of course, the peel back comp with the Galio. Or if they get a bit more proactive, they can still return to the well for the 3rd time on the Varus. And speaking of the Kog'Maw, this will be a very early rotation Kog from WE.
I am
not convinced?
Disappointed in the Kog'Maw pick right here, because it means they are giving Jarvan over to Ambition, whereas if they take the Jarvan, they have so many tools to pinch Ambition's champion pool with the Gragas and the Sejuani already banned. I feel like, especially since Ambition is the leader for the team, that would be such a bigger move. But with that being said, Team WE goes back to the well. Hey, they won a lot with Kog'Maw before. They really want the pick, and they're terrified of Samsung picking it away. I just don't think they would have. Ruler's been picking Varus as a priority pick the whole time.
Returning to the well, but with the Galio gone, with some of the support gone, the well is looking a little bit barren compared to what was a bit more fruitful in the quarterfinals. They will still
get Jarvan.
They still get the Jarvan, which is kind of amusing to see, but Ambition didn't really have confidence. Not a big Ambition pick, so I do wonder where he will go, because there could be further jungle bans here from Team WE.
Well, didn't Team WE ban Kha'Zix as well a little bit earlier?
This will be the time. This will be the time. See, earlier when Galio was unavailable to pair with the Kha'Zix, we were like, I don't know about the Kha'Zix, but the big Korean duo is Kha'Zix Galio, because you can jump in, get the Galio ult. The Kha'Zix first ban here makes a lot more sense than the last time we saw it.
Yeah, also though, The Jace and the Gnar are unbanned, and those are two things that I feel like Team WE is rightfully terrified of CuVee playing. The Gnar hard carried a game. The Jace is pretty much unwinnable lane matchup for any of the picks that 957 would be able to bring out. And when you do use that one ban on the comfort pick, which Ambition was probably going to go for, you lose the ability to fully target out CuVee.
You do wonder if WE will first pick on the red side the Gnar and accept the Kennen matchup if it is what CuVee decides to take into it, like he has previously in the tournament. Only loss for Samsung this particular series was Kennen, but it is the standard matchup for CuVee.
I feel like they are put into a corner where they have to. It was not 957's pick during the regular season. He did pick it last game, and I'm wondering if Samsung missed a ban here or if there is a timeout on it. Nope, it is the Malzahar.
I just got confirmation from production, visual bug with the timer. So they did manage to lock that in. It is the Malzahar. Allows us to jump back into the discussion of whether that Gnar comes in now or whether we see something for xiye that's fairly safe. The Taliyah is still open, but so is the Kassadin. Something that was very, very effective in game one this series.
Not really expected pick into the Galio, though, and many different approaches you can take into Galio. Lucian, a famous one from moons past. They're going to look at the Taliyah, try to make the map play. She had a good game on Taliyah in the past, but the thing about Taliyah, the reason why she's so highly prized is push and roam, push and roam. Galio is by far the prototype of the push and roam champion, and it's likely to be the mid lane matchup.
2 games played for xiye this tournament. He's gone unkilled,
Oh.
and Vision has locked in Lee Sin, and there's the Gnar that we expected.
This is a confidence pick. We saw the confidence pick, or at least the dice rolled yesterday, MLXG onto Lee Sin. Ambition has been playing Lee Sin as long as he has been around the game, even as a mid laner. His flex pick was Lee Sin in solo queue, so very experienced on it. And now 957 might find himself in this different kind of area where now he is actually on the pressure choice to counter matchup, but that is not how he usually plays.
And maybe, like, this draft is not what I was expecting to see from Team W whatsoever. I thought the Gnar would be something they could play. 957 had a great game on it last week against Cloud9, but if 957 is like, you know what, Kennen actually beats Gnar, and CuVee is a really good Kennen, I can see the logic behind it, but these are picks and choices that Team WE had available to them in the previous 3 games in the series and didn't go for. So a shift in mindset, or maybe just pure desperation by TWE in this draft phase.
And of course, losing on your signature champions, your quintessential comp, maybe that's what pushes them to this angle, but I do like the synergy. Jarvan, Kennen, Taric running forward with Taliyah and Cog on the back end. But man, it is going to be on a nice edge, because if they mess that up, the reply from Gnar, Lee Sin, and Galio, you can see the team compositions on your screen. And the engage that Rakan can put down, the instantaneous engage.
Yeah, you can lock up with the Rakan, and that often can beat the speed of the Taric ultimate, especially with that as a delivery system for Galio. It's not quite Jarvan Galio, but it's still a pretty good combo.
We'll find out whether or not Team WE can force another game, can get silver scrapes on that world stream one more time. Because if they do not, they will be eliminated at the semi-final stage. Team WE have got everything to prove, because this team composition and playstyle and flavor is not something that we would have expected or anticipated. But when your back is against the wall, you've got no more room left to wiggle with. That's obviously where you can pull out those surprises.
This jungle pull targeted Ambition's Lee Sin is a fun one. Has not been played in a long time by Ambition. But I'm expecting him to be very proactive here. Proactive options for Samsung in every lane. Even though Kennen does answer very well in the laning phase to the Gnar, no reason that Lee Sin can't make a visit there, blow the flash on Kennen, just like we saw CuVee face in game 1. So a lot of playmaking open to Ambition. That tends to go one of 2 ways. It's not usually in the middle. Either really works out or it really does not.
Yeah, and even looking at some of the regional stats distributed at the World Championship so far, like the LCK teams have many more resources devoted to their top laners than any other region. And that could be mainly just due to the strength of the players up there. CuVee is a very good top laner. Longzhu came in playing around Khan. Huni as well is a player who can excel in that style. But that is what they are fully trending towards, especially with this team composition. You have the bot lane for Samsung, who are bringing a lot of engage, and then you have the Galio, who I'm actually expecting to cheat top lane more than cheat bottom lane as far as where the early roams and the early pressure is going to be, because if CuVee gets so far ahead of 957 and starts creating that pressure, that prevents Team WE from being able to make good initiations happen.
A little bit of adjustment in the normal summoner spells. You'll notice that Rakan has taken Exhaust to try to answer the AP Kennen in particular when he comes into a team fight. So it isn't heal barrier bot side, which can mean that trading patterns that we're used to, where you have two defensive summoners on both the bot laners, can be a little bit different.
And of course, Ambition's always going to have the ability to kick him back once those team fights play out. We'll keep an eye on how effective it works out. Double relic shields for Mystic and Ben. Doran's shield, obviously, for Ruler's Varus. A little bit of a change from what we saw in the previous game. And now these two lane matchups, you can already see Mystic and Ben playing more defensive, playing more on the back foot, as the threat of this Varus Rakan is moving forward.
Yeah, it's a tough early lane phase for Ben and Mystic. They're going to have to withstand a lot of pressure early on. I mean, just the quick engage as well as the early level 2 is going to keep them shoved in. And then if Crown opts to roam bottom, that dive threat of Galio, Lee Sin even before 6 is still pretty scary.
Terrified of the double entrance. Pop up from CoreJJ, knock down, knock up from Crown. Oh, the combination is terrifying. Ambition, we'll pretend we didn't see that one. You're up 2-1 in the semifinals.
He's getting his eye in, guys.
Getting an eye, that's it, that's it.
It's got to lock in on Lee Sin like they've locked in on Team WE. But what I want to see from Team WE, if they want to make sure that they stay at the World Championship, is they can't be scared of what Samsung is going to do. They have to be making their own plays. Already, though, CoreJJ's roamed after the level 2. They're going for it.
All right, that's a flash taunt coming in from Crown.
Oh.
Flash away from xiye. He
So
dodges the Sonic Wave, but Samsung are not yet done. Flash forward, flash in. That's a two-man knockup. xiye and Condi are in trouble. Condi's getting good damage down onto Ambition. The Resonating Strike connects. Winds of War tags. First blood picked up by CoreJJ. Now Condi's forced to back out, and Samsung threw everything in the kitchen sink, but they got first blood.
And I love the fact that they saw double relic shield bot lane. We saw Mystic and Ben giving so much space, always moving back, giving so much respect to the bot lane. They said, why don't we rotate our engaged support through the mid? Joined Lee Sin, whose gank pressure with xiye naturally tending towards the top side would have been minimal, and just cement a really clean first blood for Samsung.
Yeah, Crown just gets the taunt. They know it's a heal Taliyah. He blocks behind him that flash. Might have been xiye dying early, but this is one of those cases where xiye would have loved to have been able to path up. Probably should have actually pathed into the river so Kennen could have came to help, because CoreJJ makes a super smart play and breaking the blast cone, where Ambition does what he couldn't do to the Scuttle Crab, lands the final Q on xiye and gets the kill.
Gentlemen, correlation or causation, I let you decide. The team that secured first blood went on to win the game in all 3 previous games this series. Let's see whether or not that remains true.
Correlation.
Good knock up onto Ben as CoreJJ finds that grand entrance. And Mystic and Ben, they at least push back that wave, got a few minutes of reprieve while CoreJJ was not in lane.
And usually, when you see a support pick up first blood in a room like that, you wince a little bit, you say, okay, cool, would have gone better elsewhere. Remember, we still are in a game like this in an Ardent Sensor arms race, and being able to pick up the very early Nomad's Medallion, even if it's an extended laning phase, is going to be so much more income to the Rakan, and that's going to be a nice and early Ardent Sensor.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about strategy games and the economy match.
We had to talk
game.
about something. That was one-sided.
This is the late game investment already.
Hey.
It's the Ardent Sensor investment as well. I love Nomad's Medallion early upgrade. I actually think a lot of teams should do it even when racing for Ardent Sensor, because it is so much better than the tier 1 support item. So CoreJJ will be very rich when compared to Ben late game.
Right, look at 957's HP. He's been bullied by CuVee for the last few minutes. While he's remained even on CS, there's support coming on both sides of the rift. This will be a 2v3 as 957 no access to that slicing maelstrom. Level 5s are coming in. Flash away, gets the stun down and the knockback. 957 turns that around. Now into 2v2. The knockback from the seismic shove, and Shanghai erupts in noise. The Justice Punch is interrupted, and Condi gets another one. Samsung lose 3.
Huge swing here for WE. Samsung thought they had complete run of the game, but WE read the situation so well. They were in position earlier, and they actually pick up 3 for 0.
And I love the fact that they don't wait for the dive, but instead flash away from the turret to kill Ambition before he can react. He's flashless. He flashes in to proc the instant stun into the knockup, and he doesn't have time to react.
From there, xiye can come join, instantly kills CuVee, who did not have Gnar timing to begin all of this. Level 6 ping, last kill onto Crown. That's the moment the crowd have been desperate for 2 games in a row.
And not just the crowd, Team WE has been desperate for that. Now they technically have a point of strength on the map that they can think about playing around. 957 picked up 2 kills. Ambition is now set beside Condi. So if they can get topside control, that's something with which they can force plays.
And man, Team WE needs something magical to pull this one around. Crushed in game 2, strangled out of game 3, and now they're in an advantageous position with a great mechanical outplay. But to be fair, WE were responding as well. They saw the dive coming and they had resources being allocated.
And they're obliging to what you mentioned, Jack. They're playing around their strong side, which is the top side of the map. And it's going back on Ambition.
Fight! Ambition's Lee Sin gets the hero's entrance as Condi's forced to flash for his life. The wall, I think, interrupted the Justice Punch. xiye gets another kill. Look at the volume
Lars
of the
there,
ball.
Kennen's chasing.
xiye's looking for some unworked ground. Gets off a couple of shots.
Watch for CoreJJ.
Doesn't find a target. CoreJJ gets the knockup. That's an escape. Condi survives. Condi lives. And WE get another.
Momentum is in Team WE's favor right there. The narrow escape from Condi, infusing them with more confidence to continue to go for plays. The timing of his EQ as well, as CoreJJ had roamed up to try and get that kill. That pressure that should be getting built in the bottom lane isn't necessarily paying off in the way, and here's the start once again.
So Ambition tries to re-invade to his weak side because he has the hero's entrance. No interrupt comes. Watch the Weaver's wall here. He looks for an interrupt, misses it on xiye. He would not have been in range to kill off Ambition as fast. They were going to have their support react first. Samsung react first and lose out in the maximum way.
Oh, we're not going to see the magical
dive.
outplay because it's tower dive time. Slicing Maelstrom into the knockup and that done for the kill. Condi sends his regards. Ambition's looking for one back, but there's support. xiye's come up. Let's go for another tower dive, boys. xiye's got the backup of Condi.
Galio on a wall.
957, not going to
Got
be
him.
enough. Ambition gets one back, and WE, they've bitten off more than they can chew. Crown now making his way to the top lane as Ambition's looking for the Sonic Wave. He's got Dragon's Rage available to him. And the full combo could have burst down a kill. As we jump down bottom, the fights continue. Mystic has been burst down low. It was in a 2v1. The chain of corruption was used from Ruler, but WE maintained control, 2,000 gold leads.
Trying to keep that bottom lane equal as well, but so much of this action has just revolved around the top side. And whether or not Ambition is going to perform on this Lee Sin, the fact that he did turn around that dive at least keeps him in the game a little bit, because the snowball almost felt like it would be in full effect for Team WE after the end of that play.
And while the Lee Sin has emboldened Ambition to make proactive plays, it's meant the game has been so much more bloody than our previous game. 7 kills in the first 7 minutes or so. And that has largely been trading down for Samsung. They had the good start, but from there, the turret dive went amiss. The blue buff play also did not go to their advantage. And from here, WE have that instant gold. And we've always said this team revolves around getting gold early and playing towards the team fights. They were strangled out of gold in the previous game. This time, very difficult for Samsung to do that again.
Just amazing to see how the game has been played in the entirety of the top half of the map. CoreJJ joining in so many of those skirmishes, but it's Team WE that have come out in the advantageous position. 2-0-2 for 957, 2-1-3 for Condi. Now we see them lead the way, right? With that Kennen, with that Jarvan on the front foot, and then once Ben starts getting joins the fight, he can bring that utility of the Cosmic Radiance.
Yeah, still a very interesting game here. CuVee's itemized into the Spectre's Cal. It's going to be harder for 957 to actually kill him. No turrets have yet died. Currently, though, pretty strong, obviously, on the Kennen. That's why he picked into this matchup, but Team WE still has to continue executing these plays if they want to win this one.
Yeah, Kennen to Gnar is a good matchup. 2-0-2 Kennen into 0-2 Gnar is a pretty fantastic matchup, so can only go into the Spectre's Cal and farm max range from Q. Means that WE can do whatever they want topside. That's going to be surrendered by Samsung Galaxy, but Samsung on the bot side trying to get something.
All right, Cosmic Radiance has been thrown down by Ben. This will keep him alive, but how much longer is the question? Flash comes up from Mystic. Torch Flash comes down from Crown, and Ruler will secure the kill, but it's at the cost of Ambition and maybe an Infernal Drake. At this point in time, we've equaled the number of kills of the previous 39 minutes.
Yeah, that was not Ambition's best look.
No.
Right there. And for as organized as Samsung looked in Game 3, that was complete disorganization. Ambition stayed on Infernal Drake. Crown walked past him. A full fight happens bottom lane, and then Team WE just runs into him because, of course, they're going to collapse down on that bot lane fight and find you. So we're going to watch the start of this again. Ben and Mystic definitely getting aggressive, and Samsung do pull off the fight.
Yeah, Ambition could have pulled off Drake at any point during this. Just
Get off
cement it.
Drake.
Get a second kill Ben. But Ambition stays too long. Doesn't even try to rush down. Knew he couldn't, and gets dunked by Condi. So a kill against the run of play after Samsung had prepped the bot lane play so cleanly.
And it completely wastes the Galio pressure because they get one kill, but they still lose their jungler, they still lose the Infernal Drake, and they also didn't get any turret damage. So Team W is going to be very happy with the outcome of that entire play.
Chaos is so exciting as now Ben and Mystic are shoving this wave down. Teleport is available for 957. It is also for CuVee and Crown as I'm looking at the summoner spells. First item pickup starting to trickle in, gentlemen. The Ardent Sensor is completed for Ben already. Of course, he didn't go for that tier 2 upgrade. That's obviously going to speed it up.
Yeah.
But now we need to see whether or not WE can control the chaos, because it has felt fast and loose. And sometimes that can trip you up just as much as you can catch your opponent off guard.
Yeah, and it's for Team WE getting the counter ganks when the Galio does go in, but also being able to force their own fights. The Jarvan Taric looks so good when ahead and really poor from behind. So the fact that they are ahead in this game and can then also jump in with the Kennen gives them a lot of tools to work with.
It was so close to Rage Blade and then inevitably a Hurricane, Cosmic Radiance, the item time is coming at the right time. We saw Ambition playing around bot side because they are in an Ardent Sensor deficit, so natural trades will likely go the way of WE with all the sustain coming through from that item. Condi rotates around the mid side as well. They want to find time for Rakan to back. He does so now to pick up the Ardent Sensor. They now are outnumbered.
And it's still insanely hard for Team WE to pressure Galio whatsoever. Crown's got that adaptive helm, so that's why they're trying to go elsewhere. Taliyah's here, Terror called up. They might want to go.
All right, Seismic Shove didn't find any targets, but the Cosmic Radiance and Teleport was blown. 957 with the instant teleport down. Now where's the engage? CoreJJ can look for the flash.
Oh,
the
he did.
dash, the quickness, the 3-man knockup into the hero's entrance. Look at the knockup and the damage down. 957 though with the slicing maelstrom is doing what he can to turn it around. It's too little, it's too late, and he's down. Crown gets another. Ruler got the first, and Ben will get hyper killed by CuVee's Gnar.
All the threats separated there for WE. They could not consolidate their power. Cosmic Radiance used early for a dive. Samsung were already going to move backside because they didn't have Rakan there. They knew they were outnumbered. The re-engage from Samsung, though, was sick.
And CoreJJ has played so well this series on his Taric play, but also in finding that initiation, avoiding the first initiation by Team WE, so critical. And then, as you mentioned, the beautiful turn with the Rakan and Galio. It's exactly what Samsung needed to get back in this game.
I see the replay coming here. Ambition lying in wait. Wants to try to negate the Ardent Sensor, and this was already with the recall. Rakan's not here. You see the ult. Ambition's not going to actually take the Q in. He knows about the outnumbered. Means the Kennen teleport doesn't lead to anything just yet, but wait for the turn from CoreJJ when the teleport comes in.
Yeah, and we see this beautiful move by CoreJJ. Crown as well teleports in so he can be in range for the wombo combo, still gets the knockup, and then Gnar is there at the right time.
I mean, Condi has everything up, but he's stuck just fending with Ambition topside. With xiye, they chase onto Ben. Get the kill there as well. 3 kills earlier was a big moment for WE. 3 clean kills here for Samsung, big for them too.
And as much as we compliment Samsung and CoreJJ for making that play, we have to criticize Team WE for their indecisiveness. If they're going to use the Taric ultimate that early and not dive, you must back away from the turret. And also, if you're not going to complete the dive, don't even complete 957's teleport in the first place and disengage. But they failed on both of those accounts, and they allowed Samsung to then make that big play.
And that's the equalizer. Even more than the equalizer, Samsung take the lead in the gold. Gonna steal away this blue sentinel. They got themselves that bottom tower. And of course, they're gonna continue applying pressure. Rageblade completed now for both AD carries. And what was looking like such an exciting start for Team WE has now reset the state of the game. and set us up for actually even more exciting team fights as we look at this mid-game phase.
Yeah, and Adaptive Helm is so insanely efficient against this team composition. Not only is it negating the magic damage from Kog'Maw, Taliyah and Kennen as well, both magic damage dealers who deal very similar types of damage, so the reduction there, beautiful. Also got to point out, Warrior from Condi, trying to counter that Adaptive Helm a little bit and still be a damage threat, but Taliyah wall can't find its mark.
For a bit of playmaking there, doesn't find anyone, so just will be instantly cancelled from the Taliyah. I feel like there will be a point when you have Adaptive Helm, get the first damage item, maybe even just the Frozen Mallet for Gnar, and I think standing trades will likely go the way of the Gnar as the laning phase goes on. So the early phase certainly very hairy one for the Gnar, but it gets better, especially with the magic resist already complete.
xiye there with a little bit of help from Condi, using that Unraveled Earth to try and wave clear as best as he can, but Ruler got a bunch of auto attacks down. Already starting to hammer away, got the support of the rest of Samsung and Ambitions on the Rift Herald.
He's actually spotted, I believe, by the control ward, certainly pathing towards Rift Herald, so Condi's here.
I try and steal.
I don't know if he will be able to. He's going to get picked up. Very good channel there on the flag and drag from Condi, setting ourselves up for another fight, but the buff was picked up by Ambition.
Yeah, Samsung got the objective, so no need to keep fighting. They will just move away from there. It seems like Crown's on a recall as well.
WE does have some pressure they can play around right now, though. They're going to get the push in the mid lane, and they can move down for the Cloud Drake if they want to, knowing that the recalls have happened, but instead they're opting to try and get topside control. Yeah,
traditional WE would look for the turrets, look for the instant goal, get closer the two items onto Mystic, so the deprioritization of Drake, they've shown the entire tournament continues, and CuVee once again seems aware of this.
Temporarily flashless.
Oh, nice sidestep on that seismic shove, so didn't get caught out. Tower will take some good damage, actually will likely fall here. Now we start looking at Mystic. Currently on about 1,000 gold, will jump up a couple hundred after this tower push. And how much stock do you put in Mystic's Kog'Maw? He's 6-1 at Worlds. It's the Team WE carry the tip of the spear in many of their games. And he's going to get called upon again as we head past the 20-minute mark very, very shortly.
He's been real good on it. It's also a fairly difficult situation for him to succeed in with the Rakambo coming in with the heroic entrance onto all of the different tools Samsung can throw in for the dive. So, as we mentioned in the draft phase, just an insane prioritization on it, picking it that early when Ruler didn't even really show that much interest in picking it. But there's also the fact he's behind in the game, right? He has the Rage Blade, so when he hits his items, he will be a threat. He's just not there yet.
The Cosmic Radiance usage, is it going to be on the frontline divers or is it going to be saved? Try to help the Kog'Maw get through that part, I don't know. In the note here about the jungle proximity, xiye going to be very close to his jungle for the most of this game, trying to look for those plays, and certainly was invited to after that big play topside. As Ambition actually lets the Rift Herald visit the Raptor camp for once.
Yeah, there's a chance that that was a potential trinket usage fail, but they're also getting really good usage out of it. Strategically, it pushes them back mid lane and opens up room for the Cloud Drake. So we'll give that one a good grade.
Nicely done. Well done, Ambition. Samsung Galaxy pick up their first dragon of this particular game. They're up to, a few hundred gold. And we're even on towers. Okay, we're opening up the map now. 4 towers down, a dragon apiece, even on kills, even on gold. And it's starting to feel like vision is going to become more and more important. And it looks to me like Samsung have got the better end of the deal. Slightly deeper wards, but not by much.
And when it comes to playing out against this comp, because although there is that creeping feeling that Samsung can cement their position on the game, it's not there yet. It's still going to take multiple steps for them to recreate anything like the previous games. You have to remember that WE have a teleport flanker, and teleport flanks have become more and more uncommon in this current meta with the very extended team fights. So actually, always cementing those control wards on the side as they push forward, as they try to quest some of these inner turrets, is so important for Samsung. And given you don't have as much recent experience being focused on dealing with, say, a teleport AP Kennen, there is always the chance you trip up on the execution.
And as far as flanks are concerned, though, 957 doesn't have any. The vision in the river is just completely controlled by Samsung. The best flank board was just cleared, we saw on screen, by CoreJJ with that last sweeper. So also getting stuff from inside the Baron Pit. Like, Team WE's flying blind right now. They couldn't get a split push advantage off of 957's early kills on a Kennen, and now they're stuck playing defense.
Yeah, and the observers, of course, just highlighting the other vision from Team WE and the difficulties that they're currently facing at this stage of the game. Samsung are just using that vision to steal away objectives. They've got another blue buff under their control. Team WE, I guess they're going to be okay being even. Remember, they've got this team comp that wants to be playing forward. We've seen the Taric, when ahead and playing aggressive, is completely different to Taric playing defensive, trying to use that Cosmic Radiance when you can't time it as effectively.
And a playstyle like this, where you play the map so aggressively, can be undone by the perfect teleport flank. But the other side of the coin is, you mess up the teleport flank, Baron is gone, an inhibitor is gone, you get one chance, you get one shot. And that is really where it is right here for WE. They will get some wards down. Will they be in the ideal position? No. Will some of them be swept? Yes. But it'll be all on one teamfight execution, because if they fail it, they will lose the maximum.
One opportunity to go. That's what Team WE are looking for. Black Cleaver to go with the Warrior, along with Condi. So he's going to get killed like a piece of paper once he jumps into these team fights. But if he gets the Cataclysm down, if he sets it up and locks Ruler in, when Ruler doesn't have Flash, that could be the game-changing moment.
Wants to kill Ruler. They want, if they can get a flank, right? It's all about, like, where's that one ward that can get into a deep spot? They have one of them right now. And if they can get the Flash burned on the first ultimate, then the second ultimate can catch them. But like Team WE is in a really difficult spot, as we mentioned, with the potential elimination from Worlds after one missed move. And then also the fact that they missed the move down in the bottom lane, which can add to the hesitation in this game.
And this feels like this series has been a lot of wombo combo comps from WE. A lot of Jarvan X, Jarvan Kennen in this game. They've had other Jarvan duos. You completely understand how they can play, but the reliability of those comps starts to go away as they want to pick here.
They do indeed. It's going to at least get the Galio ultimate. That's a small victory. His Crown uses that Justice Punch defensively. So it's a small win in favor of WE.
All right, Galio ult is down. Team WE has Taric. They can't win the split push against the Gnar because Kennen can no longer kill that Gnar. This is where they have to get really aggressive. I would like to see Team WE actually force around Baron now that the Scuttle Crab is dead.
One of those things where, will it be a clean Baron? No, but will forcing around Baron now, will it be the best timing with the Hero's entrance up? Perhaps, as CuVee and 957 a lot more even. They're looking to actually kill CuVee.
All right, threaded volley, not going to find any shots. A little hop over the minions. CuVee is just taking 957 and xiye on a run through the rift. Summoner heal was used as well, so not going to find their targets. And just to go back to setting up for Baron, setting up for a fight, Mystic's got himself a Hurricane, so the 2-item spike is fully activated. Yeah,
they also lost the heal from xiye because he was trying to chase after CuVee, so that is not the confident type of decisive play you would want to see out of Team WE when they have so many of these initiation tools, and now they're trying to regain Baron control, but the bottom lane is falling off.
Teleport.
Maybe this is it.
We're gonna find out. Slicing Maelstrom is available for 957. The flash engage coming down from Condi. Instant kick away from 957. And not a single flash blown on the side of Samsung Galaxy.
Yeah, Hero's entrance also coming back up, but now they've run themselves out of options. Gnar split push is there, teleport is down, Team WE got nothing for that.
Yeah, the vision toggle didn't show up, but the Q from Ambition would have hit Kennen if he went in a straight line, had to back away. Dodge it, wasn't there fast enough. Gnar gets a free turret here. They lose some control wards on Baron, but they get the big objective to Samsung Galaxy.
Man, it's now 4 towers to 2. It's a 2,000 gold lead. The 2-item power spikes for pretty much everybody is in place, but Samsung Galaxy are using the vision and their ability to play the map significantly better. They've started Baron.
And it's going to be incredibly difficult for Team W to stop this. Condi is flash, they have no vision inside. He could go for a steal, though. That's up in the air if Samsung stays on this.
Condi's done it before, but look at the flash taunt interrupted, secured by Ruler. Samsung peel away. Now Team WE trying to find the fight if they can. Crown is down. 957 flashes forward. Protobells to go in. Won't find a big stun, though. And the rest of WE cannot close the distance. 957 covered too many screens. Flash for flash, and the Weaver's Wall will slow down CuVee. I think he's going to have hop available fairly soon. Going back and forth on the autos. Mega Gnar's about to pop, but he crunches down over the wall. WE get a kill, but they lose Baron.
And Samsung is so good at this 4-1 split push game that forces the other team into decision making. After all of these events, they get the vision control on this, and yes, Condi could steal. They see the standard, and Crown knows when he can get the taunt off. The Varus ult hits at the same time. There is no chance for Condi to get inside that pit.
And it was necessary because Ambition did miss the smite. Didn't matter because his team had done the right move, interrupted the enemy smite, so Brawler able to pick it up from there. Crown gives up his life, but maybe didn't need to go so aggressive, but I guess there was no way out when he went to interrupt with the AoE taunt. They get out 4 members with the Baron. Still a success for Samsung Galaxy.
Where does this leave us in the state of the game? Samsung were already winning the map play. We're already running circles around Team WE. And now they've got Baron empowered minions to do it even more. I mean, CuVee almost having the audacity to threaten some sort of Mega Gnar engage towards the end. He's just playing so confidently on this Gnar. He can take over even further.
Yeah, the split push is a cyclical thing that comes up in the meta sometimes when we're thinking about how the game actually develops. I feel like the Worlds patch has been super interesting in that way. We started off with all this like hard Righteous Glory engage, tank line, super late game team fights. Then we saw a lot of early game tempo start to be the name of the game with the Caitlyn. That also adapted with people getting better at neutralizing those laning phases because it became a bit of a lane push meta. But if you want a 5v5 team fight, the team that can consistently stifle your engage by keeping split push pressure can stop the team fighting teams. What was pushing it out of the meta, in my opinion, was the prevalence of like Righteous Glory engaged tanks. So it is interesting how there's no Righteous Glory tanks on this Team WE team, but also that they're just not as practiced of needing to play against this. This used to be an incredibly common style to play against. Samsung clearly super practiced at it, and now both SKT and SumSam may be on their way to the World Finals, mastering this way of playing the game.
Yeah, especially when xiye is unable to lock anybody in or find that seismic shove. They can't counter the playstyle, and individually right now, they are not finding the fights or the opportunities.
And on the world stage, at the semifinals, the pressure is so high. You say the way a team plays between scrims and stage is different. It changes to the semifinals as well, and 4-1 split push forces you into decision-making, and if you have any level of hesitation or passivity against it, you lose. And Samsung are the ones making the crisp and clear decisions.
And they're pulling them off near flawlessly. 28 minutes, they've used that Baron to already break open the middle inhibitor. Bottom lane is being shoved in by Crown. He's going to be in range for that hero's entrance. Team W are on their last legs, their last opportunities to team fight their way out of this trouble. But it is just so difficult. Condi going to think about this Cataclysm, puts it down, but that's not going to interrupt the hero's entrance, and that is just a mistake that you cannot afford when you are this far down into your base.
That was actually pretty funny because Ambition had Ward hopped away, so it looked like he was jumping to no one, but Ambition previously was there on Lee Sin. There just is no easy fight. It feels like 3 games in a row. We've been at the point where W like, all right, we got our items, we're ready to go. This is our time. It's past 20 minutes, and yet Samsung keep running around the map, and I think Gnar has been the real story of the semifinals, because we knew that Jason Trundle, when we were talking about Huni, who is very much similar in style to what CuVee is showing in this series, and you think about what that brings, tank buster, but also, crucially, does turret damage, has turret threat. Do you gank him and actually lose out on other parts of the map, or do you let him take your turret? And given that Gnar has straddled the line so well, and Huni and CuVee have both shown it, you wonder what the next level is, because that certainly picks into the Gnar. I'm sure people already are praying for the Yasuo in the World Final. Who knows what could happen, but there's so much inching forward. We started with Cho'Gath Maokai. We've had the true carries. Now we're getting the hybrids between the two, and we still don't know where this hype train ends.
We're going to find out, Papa Smithy, but before then, Samsung Galaxy need to close the line, cross over this final nexus, and re-qualify for a World Championship final. I mean, that Baron timed out, just for what it's worth. They've secured 4 Barons against Team WE this series alone. And Team WE had only conceded a total 4 Barons in the previous stages of the tournament. It's just been such a great performance from Samsung Galaxy.
Do note the double void staff is complete for WE, and only a single locker on the much squishier CoreJJ is complete on the side of Samsung. So good exhaust use, and also opting out of the big damage from the Wombo here is important for Samsung.
Yeah, but Samsung is also just never grouping up for which the Wombo could happen. So if you pull it off on one side, you're losing a turret on the other, and they've just never been able to match those answers aside from game 1, when they had the cash and Shen and they could pick off the split pushers, but not in control of this game whatsoever at this point.
All right, where are Team WE? Justice Punch interrupts Crown all the way out of the base? That was insane. That's not a interaction you see very frequently. CuVee's Mega Gnar, by the way, timed out, and he's currently looking to get angry once more. That passive bar not available to stack just yet. The inhibitor has fallen. WE still have not pulled the trigger. It's a 6,000 gold deficit. They need to find something perfect, and they've got to get through Rula's flash as well as his heal. Mystic's flash is now down after CoreJJ trades it for a flash quickness engage. Crown charges up the Duran, shield doesn't fire the trigger. CuVee's about to get excited. Here comes 957 from behind. That's a dunk down. The Cosmic Radiance is buying some time. Rula flashes and heals to safety. He gets one. The Gnar into the wall. Triple kill picked up for Rula. Ben's flashed away to safety. Now xiye's the target. Rula not gonna find the quadra kill as Crown takes him down, and Shanghai is silenced. Samsung are setting their sights onto the Nexus turrets. Ben is running for his life. Ambition will not be able to take him down. And Samsung Galaxy set their sights on the Summoners Cup. They take down Team WE and qualify for a rematch with SK Telecom in the Championship Finals.
Clinical is the word, Jad. Clinical is the word to describe Samsung Galaxy. After the game one missteps from level 1, from there they were able to play methodic. From there they denied all the wombo engage that WE kept opting into. They do book that rematch with SK Telecom T1. Same roster expected to start, as we have not seen Haru outside of a single game. But kind of the amusing thing for me to take away is that we come into a world final with SK Telecom, and yet the cold, calculating, adaptive team is not SK Telecom. It's Samsung Galaxy.
Yeah, you ask me who played better during the bracket stage of this tournament between SKT and Samsung, and I think the answer is Samsung as far as the way they clinically destroy their opponents. You can't talk about strength of schedule. There will be tons of analysis done figuring out who will be favored between SKT and Samsung, but this team has adapted so well, and they do it in such a destructively slow way. It feels bad for the enemy team, but you saw what happened when Team WE made the decision and tried to engage on Samsung. They got eliminated from Worlds.
Strength of schedule and their rookie tendencies last year were valid criticisms. This year, Longzhu into Team WE was a robust schedule for them to have to bust through. The tournament favorites and Team WE in form finally 5 years after their last appearance at Worlds. Those same queries, the extra experience for CoreJJ, who role swapped into support in the regional qualifier last year, that late into the year.
Yeah.
Ruler, who was a true rookie, those queries are gone. There was some hiccups in group stage, but Samsung are a fearsome team based on the knockout stage.
They're adapting well, they're preparing well, they're winning in less games, and that means they're going to be in the final. It's that rematch we've never seen before. Team WE, their tournament comes to an end, and it is a disappointing end for the last remaining LPL squad. To break down how Samsung Galaxy knocked Team WE out of the tournament and how Samsung got to Beijing, let's head it up to Dash and the analysts.
Thank you very much. Quick shot. And gentlemen, for the first time in League of Legends history, we are going to get a rematch in the World Finals. SK Telecom T1 versus Samsung Galaxy.
And I think the crazy thing about it is, for the first time, SKT will be going into the finals as likely the underdogs to many people. Samsung has looked so strong. You know, last year, everyone had them written off. This year, they're going to come in favorites.
And they've done it with the same roster in back-to-back Worlds. Not even SK Telecom has done that. They've at least had a change every single time. But let's look at how they crafted this third victory in the fourth game to push themselves to that finals berth.
It was honestly a lot like Game 3 as well, where it felt like WE couldn't really get big advantages in the mid to late game. Early on, though, there were some differences, which I think were actually important to look at, where WE found suddenly kills left and right. And we were like, oh my god, this is like Game 5. And then Samsung, of course, shows again with this comp, which is so safe to play that they can just grind it out.
Yeah, Samsung's comp is very safe here, while Team WE's comp requires so many timings to occur so quickly for it to actually pull off. I mean, they don't have a front line here on this team because Jarvan's building, damage, actually. He goes Warrior into Black Cleaver, so they basically have to work around this Taric ultimate, and we've talked about so many times how difficult it is to keep the secured teamfight during that immunity, and they really have to work around the crowd control layering because they don't have a true tank.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, again, I credit CuVee in the top lane for building super intelligently. He builds defensive first. This time, knowing it's the Kennen kind of counter pick as the AP Kennen, he rushes the adaptive helm, he gets the Merc Treads, he survives early pressure that is put towards him, and he has just been so stalwart in the top lane for Samsung, and I think such a key component in them being able to play this slow, grinded out style because he's never giving up major advantages to his opponents.
That said, we asked Team WE to draft themselves more tools, right, to try and build those leads and perhaps blow the game wide open against the Samsung Galaxy that you know if you try and take them late, they're most likely to win. Well, guess what? With those tools, they come away 3 for 0 at 6 minutes. This is the way that Team WE wanted the game to be going.
And it was actually Samsung setting up an aggressive tower dive, but then they get completely outplayed. And this is what we said before here. In the start of the game, we saw WE pick up some kills, and we felt like, wow, this was now their game to win. All of a sudden, it all started up in the top lane.
And we talk about the timings. 957 had the passive charge on his Kennen shuriken there at the beginning, so that's why he was able to get that stun and set it up. Then right after it, everyone's getting so hyped up because WE pull off yet another extremely close play here
We were
in the mid lane.
right there. We were like,
Yeah, we fell out of our chairs. We were running around with our hands above our heads. This play was incredible.
I mean, Condi was nuts in the early game. So many players would have failed to get out of this situation. He played it incredibly well, and it did feel like he's racking up kill after kill, and then even into the Infernal Dragon where he kills Ambition again right there. Like, Condi was everywhere, and he had such a strong early game.
The entire top half of the map, because the solo laners in both of those plays were also actually perfect.
Yeah, okay, but here's the thing, right? WE got out to this hot start. You just said it. Everybody was starting to feel it in the arena. Oh, my God, here it goes.
Yep.
They're coming back. They're going to push us to a Game 5. And then CoreJJ comes up big for Samsung Galaxy in the bot lane. 14 minutes in, 3 for 0. This replay brought to you by Ace
And this again, you have to really kind of talk about the Taric ultimate. The Taric ultimate used so early here before the dive actually comes down. This prompts the double teleport coming in from Samsung, which was a great response.
Every second is critical, and you look at the movement of them as well. They're split off here, completely grouped up for this little clump. CoreJJ goes in, and his greatest is shining. Crown then is able to Galio ultimate right afterwards. And you see, this early in the game, Kennen damage with a full AP Kennen doesn't touch either of them.
I mean, there's nothing you can do against triple knockup into triple knockup.
Again, once your defensive tool is gone, obviously you're going to lose the fight here. And people might wonder, why did Ben use ulti so early? Because it seems so weird. His entire team was there, but he clearly thought that Lee Sin would actually go for the all-in, and most likely Galio ulti is flying down in his face right after. And if he doesn't use it there, he's going to get kicked, he's going to get knocked up, and he never gets to use it. So that's what he's thinking. It just backfires big time.
Yeah, because of the difficulty of actually pulling that off with this comp.
The timing has to be perfect, and especially when you're running no tanks whatsoever, right? It's a DPS Jarvan, it's a Kennen in the top side. They essentially have to kill someone during the Taric ultimate, or you're just going to lose the fight.
I'm going to stop us here. We'll get back to analysis in just a moment, but right now, Shox is standing by with Samsung Galaxy's top laner, so let's head there.
Thank you very much, guys. Joined here indeed by CuVee, who with Samsung only dropped 1 game in the series and then swiftly won 3 in a row. So what would you say your major adaptation was after game 1 of this series?
이제 1경기 패배 이후에 3경기를 내리따면서 결승전 진출을 확정지으셨는데요. 1경기 패배 이후에 어떤 점을 이제 다시 논의하고 개선점 찾아서 다시 재정비하셨는지 궁금합니다.
아무래도 1경기 때 카사딘이 나오면서 저희가 좀 생각하지 않았던 방향으로 픽이 진행됐어요. 그래서 그런 부분에서 변수가 작용해서 저희가 좀 말렸던 것 같고, 2경기 때부터는 확실히 카사딘을 좀 신경 쓰면서 뱀픽을 하다 보니까 좀 수월하게 갔던 것 같아요.
So at game 1, I think the Kassadin pick was unexpected, and that gave us a really hard time for game 1. So after game 1, we thought that we'd focus on banning Kassadin for our drafts, and that worked well for us.
You cleaned out the rest of the 3 matches very clearly, and if we look just at results, it seems that you guys are in a stronger form than SKT at this point. You're going into that epic rematch of last year. What are you expecting this year of the matchup versus SKT?
지금까지 경기 결과만 놓고 봤을 때는 SKT보다 더욱더 강해 보이고 더욱더 깔끔한 경기력으로 결승전 진출하셨는데요. 내년에 이어서 다시 한번 결승전 리매치를 하게 되었는데 어떻게 생각하시나요?
저는 SKT가 좀 힘들게 올라왔지만 항상 좀 이제 질만 한 대쯤에 항상 이기기 때문에 그런 저력이 오히려 SKT의 더 무서운 점이라고 생각해요. 그래서 저는 결국 좀 나쁘지 않고 있고 진짜 강한 상대라고 생각하고 있어요.
So even though SKT did struggle, but whenever on the verge of losing, they always manage to stand back up and win the game. So I think that's what makes SKT even scarier. So of course, we'll never let our guards down against SKT, and I really think they're a really difficult opponent at full respect, and we'll try our best to prepare the final matchup.
Absolutely, but you could make a very big difference in that top lane. You've had a great tournament so far. What can you tell me about your opponent in that matchup versus Huni next week?
예, 큐베 선수는 지금까지 매우 정말 뛰어난 성적으로 대회를 치르고 계시는데 결승전에서 맞붙게 되실 후니 선수에 대해서는 어떻게 생각하시나요?
지금까지 롤드컵 경기 봤을 때 훈이 선수가 굉장히 잘하는 모습을 보여줬어요. 공격적인 것도 확실히 잘하고 탱커적인 것도 확실히 잘해가지고 뱀픽이 좀 저희가 힘들 것 같다 생각하는데 그래도 저는 이길 수 있다고 확신하고 있습니다.
So looking at Huni's performance here at Worlds, he's been very playing very well on tank champions and aggressive champions. So I think he's going to be a very tough opponent, but I am certain that I can beat him.
All right, we'll be looking forward to that. Thank you very much, and congratulations once again. Back over to you guys.
A little preview of next week's top lane matchup with the laugh to boot there on. I'm pretty sure
The nicest trash talk ever.
Oh, absolutely.
He's great. I can beat him.
I love that. But as we move ourselves back into the series at hand in this game 4, I want to take a look at one more replay. This one actually, to a degree, WE focused, because we talked about all those timings needing to line up here perfectly. It just didn't quite make it happen right here.
And for the longest time, it felt inevitable. Then you see this TP come in, you think, just maybe WE can pull off this play, can get the kills with the Kennen, can take the Baron, but the hesitation from 957 means there's no chance of that play, and the teleport being down, Gnar being on the bot side, then prompts Samsung going straight to the Baron.
Yeah, after that, then Samsung are able to just completely steamroll this game, even though Crown goes down. And while
round 2.
Yeah, here's round 2 where they try and pick something up. While there aren't at that stage in the game going to be many openings for WE to really take back control, and you want to see them make that play. Taking the perspective of 957 there, the 3 champions he's actually running into are incredibly dangerous for a full AP Kennen who has no Zonias. It's a top lane, so he doesn't have cleanse or anything like that. And he has to worry about all of the crowd control from the Varus, from the Rakan, and the Lee Sin kickback. So he would have to time it again perfectly with Condi's flash knockup from Jarvan. So you can see the things that are causing the hesitation. It's just, it is frustrating because there aren't going to be many windows like that.
Exactly, and that's what it's about. It's not that it's an easy play to make. It's that if your best chance to win the game is a 5% or a 10% play, then you need to go for that. You need to try to make those plays happen, because that's how those crazy comebacks can happen. If you look at something like the SKT, EDG games from groups, 10,000 down, you're like, well, that's a pretty risky play to make. I don't know if you want to engage there, but that's the only way.
You had to hit a 4-man shockwave to win. Well, guess what? You do hit it. You do win the game.
And also, when you play against a team like Samsung, who is so controlled in the way they're playing, if you don't sometimes try a little bit of the unexpected, you're not going to surprise them. They're always having vision of you. They're like, okay, they are going to flank from this side. We're going to move over here instead. Stay as 5, or it's CoreJJ saying, finally, I find a guy out of position, and he goes in and he engages.
I mean, it brings it full circle to Kobe's point, which is that you're facing a team like this.
What was that sound again?
And that's where you're facing a team like this, and that's where all that hesitation comes from, right? And it may have been a low percentage play. Who knows what had happened if he had gone for it. We're ready for another interview, this time with Samsung Galaxy's mid laner. Shox, take it away.
Thank you very much, guys. Joined here by Crown, who has made it to the biggest stage of Worlds and once again to that matchup versus SKT. But the first thing I want to ask is, if you look only at your team at Samsung, what is the difference or the biggest difference in your team compared to last year going into the final?
크라운 선수 결승 진출 축하드리고요. 다시 한번 이제 제일 큰 대회 결승전 진출하게 되셨는데, 팀만 놓고 봤을 때는 작년 삼성 팀이랑 올해 삼성 팀을 비교하면 어떤 게 가장 나은 점 또는 더 강해진 부분이 무엇이 있을까요?
글쎄요. 작년이 잘 기억이 안 나요, 솔직히. 제가 하루하루 열심히 살다 보니까 작년이 잘 기억이 안 나는데, 아마 작년과 비슷하게 이 시기만 되면은 저희가 팀워크가 조금씩 더 좋아지고 그런 것 같아요.
So I really can't compare the details because I try to live on the present, not by the past. So I can't really remember what were our strengths last year. But I think overall, we have in common that by this time of the year, our teamwork is really, really at the peak.
But the biggest question for everyone is if you guys can beat SKT this year. And you talked so much about your personal disappointment. So, Kron, I'm just going to ask you straight up. Do you feel ready to take down Faker and SKT next week?
하지만 결국 제일 중요한 관문이 남았죠. SKT랑 페이커 선수인데요. 이전 영상에도 크라운 선수가 페이커 선수한테 작년 경기를 통해서 본인 스스로에게 실망한 점도 많이 얘기한 점이 나왔었는데, 이제 다시 한번 SKT랑 페이커 선수 팀을 꺾을 준비가 되셨나요?
네, 뭐 준비는 돼 있고 마음을 비워놔서 이번에는 뭐 저도 실망하지 않고 이기면 좋은 거고 좀 더 편하고 재밌게 임할 생각입니다.
I think yes, we are prepared, but I think I'm at more of a relaxed state right now. So even though if I were to lose, I wouldn't be too disappointed, but I'll be definitely enjoying the final much more than last year.
All right, more relaxed Crown next week. We'll see what that can bring. Thank you very much, Crown and Homan. Back over to you guys.
Thank you very much, Shocks. But I got some interesting looks here.
Yeah, where's the fire? How is it okay to lose in the finals? You were one game away. It's not like they're playing a team that's that much better. I'm surprised.
You
even said they might be
better.
considered the favorites.
Yeah,
exactly.
They look better than last year, at least, going into this final. I think a lot of people are going to say Samsung can definitely win against SKT, and he talks about revenge normally, and now
he's trying to lull Faker into a false sense of confidence.
Because Faker's watching
I'm
interview being
relaxed.
like,
We're not really gonna try.
It's like 3-0. I get to go to dinner early, just like you wanted.
Keep that hype low before I smack him around.
Maybe
in the
it's dinner
lane.
with Crown. That's it. You know, Crown's like, it's chill.
Alrighty, well, while many players had huge moments in this semifinal match, we'd like to recognize one person who pushed his team to victory. Player of the series goes to CoreJJ.
And we saw so many good engages from CoreJJ. I think also his Taric has been spot on in almost every single game when he's played it. Big team fight we see here. It was a big comeback in the last game, started by him on this Rakan, and they valued this pick for him as well as today and in the quarterfinals.
The entire tournament's been revolving around support picks, and CoreJJ was one of the best at pulling them off. He remains flexible, not only in champion, but also play style.
The biggest thing for me is also when you think about all the players, some of them had individual weak moments. It's hard to really think of any bad moments for CoreJJ in this series. It felt like he was very consistent the whole way through, often the reason they're winning and never really the reason that they were losing.
And to that end, I think I return again to the champion portraits. Yesterday, our player of the series played one champion all 5 games. That was Faker on Galio. This time around, CoreJJ in their 3 wins, playing 3 different champions. So having those 3 different looks, so important when you may be playing around the bot lane, as we've seen. We've seen Wolf push to some very strange support champions as well. So that matchup, to me, is becoming more and more interesting as we look towards the finals.
And that's the thing. I love when supports in this meta can still be playmakers, because I think there are still so many supports that can actually offer you that extra punch you often need, where typically teams have like one engaged champion, then you add in suddenly there is a Leona, there's a Rakan or something, and then you have 2, and you can actually be much more aggressive on the bottom side. I think that's important.
And you've got to say the metas in these 2 different semifinals were vastly different, right? On one hand, we had the Leona, and we had the Blitzcrank, we have the Nocturne, we had all this crazy stuff going on, and this was much more what you expected to see throughout the entire tournament. So I'm going to be very interested to see what happens in the finals. You know, will it be Samsung adapting some of that SKT style, or will SKT be trying to just best Samsung at their own style? Like, there's a lot going on there, and I'm not sure what we're going to see.
And that's the thing. SKT themselves have shown so much flexibility in style. They've been playing split pushes. They've been playing, you know, multiple points on the map. It hasn't been someone just towing the line.
Is there even really a meta this Worlds? I mean, yes, there are certain champions that do seem to be of utmost priority, but like at this point, I feel like it's been proven that you can win a game here at Worlds in any way, shape, or form.
I mean, it's actually always like that. And a lot of teams are just afraid of pulling out unique picks because they probably didn't have enough time to practice it. But whenever you have a full week to prep for just one opponent, there's always a chance that you look for counter picks to what they like to play. And we might see 1 or 2 new picks, but it might also just be fairly standard in this big final.
Well, as we talk about CoreJJ and award him player of the series, why don't we go and talk to the man himself. Shocks, one more time.
Thank you very much, guys. Here with CoreJJ. CoreJJ, where I was talking to your teammates, specifically Crown. He didn't want to make too big statements about the final, but I do want to know from you specifically, do you think the team is stronger than last year going into the final?
이제 이전 인터뷰에서 이제 크라운 선수랑 인터뷰했을 때는 사실 크라운 선수는 되게 좀 겸손하게 좀 팀에 대해서는 좀 말씀을 되게 좀 조심스럽게 했는데요. 다시 한번 묻고 싶습니다. 코어전의 선수는 지금 현재 삼성팀이 작년 결승전의 삼성보다 더 강해져서 결승전에 올라간다 생각하시나요?
네, 일단 작년 결승전부터 저희 팀 같은 경우에는 되게 올 한 해 되게 굴곡이 많았지만 특히 여기 도착해서 그 롤드컵 도착해서 그룹 스테이지부터 점점 이제 매 주마다 좋은 경기력을 보여드리고 있는 것 같아서 계속 발전하고 있는 것 같아서 작년보다는 훨씬 낫다고 생각해요.
So actually, I do believe that we are a stronger team than last year. Starting from last year's finals, I think we had a lot going on with our team, a lot of ups and downs. But starting from group stage, I think week by week, our team's getting stronger and we're adapting to the meta and we're getting better as a team.
But then the big question is stronger enough to beat SKT this year?
하지만 가장 중요한 질문은 그 강해진 정도가 SKT 팀을 이길 만큼 강해졌다 생각하시나요?
적어도 SKT랑 맞붙어서 누가 부러질지 보기 전까지는 우리가 졌다라는 생각은 안 들 것 같아요.
So I think at least we became strong enough that nobody will know until we collide with SKT that which one would survive.
I do want to put the spotlight on you personally. You earned Player of the Series. You had a fantastic series. Do you think you'll be able to make the difference in the bottom lane versus Bang and Wolf?
특히나 이제 코어정 선수는 이번 4강전에서 시리즈 MVP를 획득하셨는데요. 그만큼 결승전에서 뱅 선수랑 울프 선수 상대로도 이와 비슷한 그 플레이를 하고 똑같이 영향력을 발휘할 수 있을 거라 그 생각하시나요?
SKT 같은 경우에는 되게 질 듯하면서도 끝까지 이겨내는 뭔가 마력의 힘이 있기 때문에 오늘보다 더 준비를 잘해서 오늘보다 더 잘해야 이길 수 있을 거라고 생각해요.
So I think SKT's strength overall is that even though they might seem to like fall down, they always they never fall down completely. They always manage to get back up. So I think in order to beat them and have the same influence, I have to even prepare even harder and play better at the final series.
All right. Well, thank you very much and good luck next week. Thank you, Homan. SKT's resilience is a big factor in these interviews. Back over to you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shocks. CoreJJ, although probably confident that they could take the win, knows that his toughest match is ahead of him here against an SKT that is yet to lose a best-of-5 at Worlds.
Yeah, hard to argue against that one.
Okay, fair enough.
There you go.
All right, well, with the week in Shanghai coming to a close, we want to give a shout-out to the players who were necessary in earning their team a spot
Concise.
in Beijing. I hate you guys right now. Here are our Best of the Rift, brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. For Samsung Galaxy, it's Ambition and CuVee. For SKT, it's Huni and Faker. First up, Ambition.
And Ambition, I think, one of the reasons he is on this list is how much of a difference he makes in-game for Samsung with the shot calling, with the planning in the early game. I do also think he's performed so much better in the knockout stages than
Exactly. In-game leaders are so rare in this game, and Ambition is one of those veterans that carries himself on the Rift, and you can see the team instantly. If he is in the game compared to if he is not in the game, it's a completely different team.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. The other members stepping up behind CoreJJ for Samsung Galaxy, it was CuVee.
Yeah, I think we're all big fans of CuVee now because he's able to play both styles up in the top lane. He can be the guy who picks a tank and plays around his bottom side, or he can be the guy who gets a counter pick and he carries from the top lane itself.
And he's just such a smart player. That's one of the things I always feel like when I'm watching him. He plays every play so intelligently. He thinks about his build. He thinks about how he needs to play the game for his team to win. And he just seems so cerebral, so intelligent.
Exactly. He's always able to incorporate his needs as well as the team's needs for their overall victory plan.
On the flip side of the finals matchup, we've got SKT's Huni.
I mean, we just talked about the flexibility of CuVee. I feel like Huni is more one-dimensional, but he's so good at playing the split push style for SKT. At least during Worlds itself, we've seen them just leave him alone up on that island there, say, you're going to win, you're going to push down these turrets, and then you can join a team fight later and be so much stronger than the enemy top laner.
That said, Azael, I know you're a big fan of Huni and the way he's been performing specifically in this Worlds.
Yeah, I think he's been playing so excellently on these carries. He's been such a threat in the side lane, and I think it's really impressive to see when the expectation coming into Worlds was mostly going to be tanks, that people would talk so much, in the LCK about, oh, Huni, he learned how to play tanks. Now he can be great on SKT. He's playing his own style that he has been famous for years. He's playing super aggressive. He's playing for himself, and he's making it work. He's in the World Finals.
It's really interesting because it's kind of defining the look that we have from SKT that's a bit different than we're used to. Huni's play in combination with the bottom lane kind of limping a little bit through this tournament has really given a fresh look to SKT.
I mean, Titanic, Hydra, and Camille, that's definitely a tank, right? We got
Yeah,
help in there.
we have help on the item.
All right, finally, it's SKT's Faker.
Amen. I mean, last series...
Who's this guy, Martin? Tell me about him.
This guy, if you guys don't know him, is considered the greatest League of Legends player of all time. And I think last series he showed that. I think in the quarterfinals he showed it as well. Like, it is rare you see a player who is so good at picking up his entire team.
Every series he's ever
All
played
right, every series he's played, he's been pretty damn good
So
at.
it gets to sound repetitive when everyone's always saying, oh yeah, Faker's the best, Faker's the best. And some years I've felt like, oh yeah, he's the best, but like by a small margin or something. But this year, more than any other year, I feel like Faker, in the only tiers you can judge him is like Faker level 1 and then Faker level 2. Or he is playing, he's playing excellently compared to even his previous self. And the team does need him to do it in this time. So that's why it's so impressive, extra impressive to me this year.
I cannot argue with that. We'll see which players will maintain dominance in the finals next week. From the first camp till the final Elder, you can follow the best of the Rift in more places than ever before. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. But as we look at those 4 players specifically on those 2 teams, I want to talk about how we might see those 4 interact and be key players for the finals next week.
And I think CuVee versus Huni is going to be such an interesting matchup because there are those different styles. Like, CuVee could just go carry versus carry. He could play the same style as Huni, and he can play it as well or perhaps even better than him. And we haven't really seen, Huni playing as many different styles as CuVee. So I think that in draft, you're going to see a lot of focus on top lane.
I think mid lane is obviously going to be massively in favor of SKT. I don't think Crown in the early laning phase is performing too well at the moment. I think Faker is basically amazing in every game he's playing. So I can see SKT actually get quite an advantage there. And we see Faker on a lot of these picks like Galio. We saw his Taliyah in the quarterfinals as well. That's how you take your advantage and then you snowball the rest of your team.
We see him on these picks like Galio. I feel like Galio is the only pick that's like Galio, and that's why he played it 5 times in a row, though.
I was adding Taliyah as well because they can roam.
He got a second one.
Well, then what about Rise?
Rise is that. Rise was good.
No.
He was good at Rise. He can play Rise.
All right, our weekend in Shanghai was packed with moments that made the crowd roar, and we can't call it quits without looking at those big plays. Brought to you by Acer. First up, iHook shined a light on xiye and why he should be in the conversation for one of the best mid laners in this tournament.
All right, now CuVee is going to be under further pressure. Rift walks up for xiye, slicing Maelstrom will buy some time. Still 1,000 hit points to burn through. CuVee is going to try to turn it around. They're hitting away on xiye. xiye clears out the wave.
I thought CuVee was going to be done. I thought already we had the point where Cassidy and Shen could easily 1v1 CuVee, but then he turns it around.
The magic damage shield from the Q that helps out a little.
能杀吗？我操！我操！我操！
So pretty sick he gets the kill. We were all watching that play though, kind of going like, he just jumped right in there. He took all the damage he could possibly take, and he just had enough HP in the end.
The most important part of that play is that we're not highlighting a big outplay from xiye.
No.
That's like, this Cassidy should win the duel. And he knows, he's so confident. He's just running straight through the shuriken. He's like, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, but that said, his Cassidy was a big factor
it was
in the
very
win
good,
there
very
in
good.
Game 1. Next up, Tenketsu got in the mind of the RNG top laner. Let me kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
The Deadly Venom maybe taking him down. Let me on the chase as well. Faker going towards the turret. Finds Xiao for some damage. Looks for a bit more. Let me get himself the 1 kill. He throws the house at him and brings it down in the same swing.
一个人全杀，这个可以打一个，小心小心小心。
You thought the Twitch being cut off by Faker would be enough, but let me with the double house to the face, taking down the entire bot lane instantly. So big for RNG.
It's like clay pigeons, man. He's just shooting them out of the air.
Oh, right as they take flight. And I love double house to the face.
I love that Kobe, the hype man's reaction is, ooh. Ooh.
He was just
right
like,
there. You could have been screaming everything.
You can feel it.
Did you see MLXG's reaction there, though, too?
That was a real reaction, man. I loved it.
That was, he's like, we are doing it right now. All right, finally, Ice Soul Boy didn't want Huni's Gnar play to be looked over. That last ulti that Huni pulled off, just one SKT the game. Well played.
A 4-stack Elder Dragon going to SKT. He has to respect Faker's fight. Comes in. Huni goes for the Mega Gnar. The triple stun. Here's the follow through. It's going to be 2 already. And into the back lane goes Let Me. Cannot kill off Wolf though as the Chinese members are falling left and right. Uzi on the run.
걸어도 돼. 보자. 나이스. 그렇게. 천천히 타릭궁이야.
This was the final fight. Huni finding the Gnar ultimate, catching everyone, and as soon as you saw him go over the wall with the Elder Dragon, you knew the series was over. You knew SKT were going back to the World Final.
and this is Huni in a different light. This is not Huni in the side lane, pressuring with Jace, trying to push down turrets and split push. This is Huni as main engage for SK Telecom. They're just itching to take this fight because as soon as Elder Dragon goes down, they want to do it. They want to use it, and Huni makes it happen.
Get you a man who can do it all. There it is. There it is. The consistency there is the flashiness of the play for Huni, right? It's always big highs, high highs, and low lows. As we ship out for the final match in the Bird's Nest, take to Twitter and share your biggest moments from the entire tournament, whether it's play-ins or today's series. Use that hashtag World's Big Plays, and we'll share your favorite moments from our 7 weeks of play. A reminder that All-Stars is just on the horizon. If you're in the Los Angeles area, December 7th to the 10th, make sure to join the action at the NALCS studios where 8 dream teams voted in by fans will compete on the Summoner's Rift in a 1v1 tournament. For more info, check out the announcement article on lulesports.com. Thinking about that all-star matchup, I mean, let's just look at some of the players that have put on big showings here. Who would be some of your, go-to votes?
You're all on my dream team.
Let me step out on a ledge here and say Faker.
Okay. That's a safe one.
That's bold.
So if we stay with Korea, I got Prey for AD carry.
Okay.
Gorilla or... Yeah, probably Gorilla support, even though CoreJJ is playing really well. I think Gorilla...
No, CoreJJ player of the series.
Who's the top laner?
I know, but
who's the top laner?
I'm going CuVee.
Okay.
All right. Okay, how about other regions? Other than Korea.
Oh, other regions.
From Europe, who's going?
Oh, from Europe. So that's tough. I think we're going to get Jankos jungle.
Okay. Give me one other.
I see Reckless AD carry.
Perfect. Give me an NA team or an NA player.
We got Smithy in the jungle.
Okay, and
we
Kobe?
still got, what do you think? Bjergsen in the mid lane.
Of course,
Who got
Bjergsen.
top
Give me a tougher one than that.
Maybe Flame or something. I think I'd vote for Flame.
Yeah, where's yours?
What?
I'm not hearing anything.
Well, I mean, I'd vote for Jensen. But
oh, okay, there we go.
All
There
you go. Some
right, well,
diversity.
there you have it. With our finalists locked in, let's take another look at the journey these teams took to get here. The victorious Samsung Galaxy have earned their rematch against SKT for the World Championship and will have an opportunity to prevent the three-peat at the Bird's Nest in Beijing. We've already talked about the top lane matchup, a little bit about that mid lane matchup. Let's talk about the bot lane for just a second as we preview next week's finals.
I mean, I talked about it a little bit before, but it does seem like Bang and Wolf have been limping through this tournament a little bit. They did have some good performances, so it's not like writing these guys off. They have been able to do, like the rest of SK Telecom, to stand tall, have that poise in the best of 5 games. So we do expect them to try and step up for the team.
Certainly do, and you also have to say some of their struggles are partially due to the playstyle of Huni, right? If he is not, playing that Shen and supporting them and getting them through these laning phases, as we've seen a lot of these other teams do, it's going to be harder for them, and we will have to see a fantastic performance from their bottom lane to withstand that pressure, because we know that CuVee could be coming down there, that they could be getting that pressure, and how well CoreJJ has been playing.
And they should probably give up on the Blitzcrank.
Are you sure? I don't know, maybe a second chance. I think Wolf getting some confidence in the last series was super important because he's going against CoreJJ, and I'm very excited about the support matchup because I really want to see them on these playmakers. I even want to see Blitzcrank again just because I think it offers so much more to this current meta than just Janna versus Lulu.
Alrighty, that's going to do it for Shanghai. We've got only one thing left to do, and that's to crown our world champions. So for myself, the casters, and the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and stay tuned after the show for Worlds Tonight, where Sharks, Papa Smithy, and Azale will break down Samsung's win and look towards their battle for the Summoners Cup. Otherwise, we'll see you at the Bird's Nest for the conclusion of Worlds 2017. Good night.
You want to see Blitz again?
Yeah, why not?
You think he's going to be better?
Legends never die. They become a part of you.
The unenviable task of facing SK Telecom in the finals is what's at stake here, gentlemen. And I know where the crowd is cheering behind the last LPL representative. Condi runs for his life. Now it's just burning. Somebody heals, forced to be used. First blood, picked up by Mystic. CuVee's going to try to turn it on. They're hitting away on xiye. xiye clears out the way. And this venue erupts.
可以打，可以打，移到了，小豹没打，给帮我进攻。
The flash, the Durant toss, that gets another. This fight's getting messy, and the Dazzle sets up a stun for Ben to set up a kill. Three-man body slam from Ambition, and now everybody turns their attention to the crown. He's going to get dropped, taken down by Team WE. Trade 4 for 2.
뛰었어.
뒷목 나왔어.
안 죽어. 바로.
Now it's a full-on 5v5. Shockwave pulls back too, but it's not only the front line. CoreJJ gets feasted down, and Samsung win. They get the first kill. The quickness, the three-man knockup into the hero's entrance. Look at the knockup and the damage down. 957 over the slicing maelstrom is doing what he can to turn around. It's too little, it's too late. Rula flashes and heals to safety. He gets one. Gnar into the wall. Triple kill picked up for Rula. Ben flashed away to safety. Now xiye's the target. Samsung Galaxy set their sights on the Summoners Cup and qualify for a rematch with SK Telecom in the Championship Finals.